Numbers are out, and it's a bit of a mixed bag today. We're going to break down the numbers and tell you what it all means.
Bill Cosby gets to appeal his case. Our legal expert breaks down what he's fighting and his chances for winning.
My mom always says, treat others like you want to be treated. So that would be, I think that's the golden rule.
Building the bridge with football. High schoolers from all over Northeast Ohio gather at the Pro Football Hall of Fame to talk race and play a little ball.
We'll tell you about a complaint that ended in this moment. Kids playing football with police. Pretty cool. And is it finally time to play ball? We're going to break down a major league deal. Jim Donovan joins us with all the details. What's new starts right now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. We're together again.
Hi, Betsy.
Hi.
Distant high five.
High fives and hugs and all that stuff. Way over there. Yeah, Jay back in studio. I'm finally back in, so.
And I have to apologize in advance. I'm going to be giddy today, okay? I'm just going to say that. When I saw Betsy when she came in this afternoon,
it was ridiculous.
It was just like, oh my goodness, we're slowly creeping back towards normal.
And you're going to see us looking. It looks like we're looking off camera.
I know.
A lot, but we're actually looking at each other. You saw the wide shot. Literally, he's 10 feet from me.
Yes,
so.
it'll take some getting used to. But hello to you, Betsy, and to everyone at home. Thanks for watching What's New. It's great to have half of the band back together. Hopefully, Betsy, Matt, and Stephanie aren't far behind and get the whole band back together. That'll be fun.
Yep.
That'll be a big day. Betsy, we begin tonight at 5 with the latest coronavirus numbers, and quite frankly, they are still concerning. New cases in the last 24-hour reporting window, 590. And you can see there on the graph, that is down significantly from yesterday's numbers. So that certainly is a good sign, but it is still higher than that all-important 21-day average. Ohio has had more than 46,000 positive cases of the coronavirus since the pandemic began. I mentioned that 21-day average. That stands at 466, so we're still about 30% over that number with today's cases, and that is troubling. And also troubling, there have been 31 coronavirus deaths in the last 24 hours. We had only 4 deaths yesterday. Also, hospitalizations are up day to day from 50 yesterday all the way up to 87 today. And we've talked about this before, but we all know that hospitalizations and deaths, lagging indicators from the positive test cases. And for a little more context on these numbers, because they can get confusing, let's send it over to Betsy.
Well, actually, Laura Queso's the one who watched the daily briefing today. So, Laura, what did Governor DeWine say we have to do to keep the number of cases from rising? And can we even do that?
It's a great question, right? Well, the governor said today we have to do 2 things, Betsy and Jay. We have to continue more testing, and we have to stay focused, his words. So that means wearing a mask and also social distancing. He also said we are seeing more positive cases in young people. So that's people in their 30s. He said that could be because more people are being tested, but also because he says young people are starting to move around a lot. He did address protesters and had this plea for them.
And what your actions do impact other people. So wear a mask, keep social distancing. These are things that are very, very important. You can protest, get your point across, but it's imperative for everyone to keep the social distance, for everyone to do everything you can to slow down the spread of this virus.
Governor DeWine, Fran DeWine, and the Lieutenant Governor, John Husted, all received coronavirus tests live during the press conference today from the Ohio National Guard. Now, after the governor's tests, he said, wow, that's it? The demonstration was meant to encourage testing, which is widely available now throughout the state. Test results are usually expected within 24 to 48 hours. And Betsy, of course, we have a list of testing sites for everyone on WKYC.com and, of course, our app.
Well, we still have to keep an eye on things, obviously. And I'm glad the governor is still leading the charge on all of that. Thanks a lot, Laura. Appreciate it. Jay?
All right, Betsy, now on to your feed at 5. And first up there, barring any last-minute snags, and let's face it, that's possible. We're talking about baseball. It looks as though we could have a Major League Baseball season after all. It just will not look like anything we've ever seen before, I can promise you that. 3 News sports director Jimmy Donovan has been following every twist and every turn of this soap opera. And Jimmy, that's really what it's been, a soap opera. And he joins us now down on the farm. Jimmy, where are we with the season? What's going to happen here?
Well, you're right about that. I have to tell you, it's almost like getting a case of vertigo. You really feel kind of dizzy the way this has gone all the way through this. Here's where we are. We're at the deadline at 5 o'clock and a little bit past that right now. And Major League Baseball players have to sign off on the mandated deal and schedule that the commissioner implemented late last night after the players had rejected the latest owner's offer from over the weekend. But the 60-game season is ready to go. Now, the 2 pieces of business that still we are awaiting for to be signed off and agreed to by the players are these. Number 1 is that they have to report to their home cities for a spring training 2.0 by next week, July 1st, which would be a week from tomorrow, and get set for this upcoming season. So that's number 1. Number 2 is that the players have to be comfortable and they must sign off on the health protocols and safety protocols that Major League Baseball is going to enforce to try and keep everybody safe and sound during the 60-game season because of coronavirus. All readings are right now that the players are going to agree to this and that right now they are making their plans to get back into their home cities. Jay, basically the rundown goes like this. The 60-game season is set to begin on July 24th. It will end on September 27th. So the Indians now will have their training right here in Cleveland rather than going out to Arizona, and that will be the case with the other major league teams too. The 60-game season, when you break it down as far as how much the players are going to be paid, they will get their prorated salaries, but they're only going to get, because of 60 games, 37% of what they would have made if we would have had a full season. There will be a lot of things that are going to be coming at us through this period of time now. For instance, the schedule. How are they going to play? How are they going to be aligned in divisions? It appears as though the Indians will be, like the rest of baseball, geographically set up. So the Indians will probably play in the central part of the country. They'll be in Chicago a lot. It looks like they'll play the White Sox and the Cubs. And the DH will be in every game. Not necessarily as like it has been through the years, National League not having the DH until the postseason or when they play in an American League ballpark. Everybody will have the DH, and they feel that's a safety concern for pitchers. They want pitchers just to go out and pitch rather than hit. It's also a test balloon for the upcoming seasons, whether or not they want the DH to be in every game, no matter what it is, even when we go back to a 162-game season. There'll be no handshaking, no high fives, no sitting in the dugout. Players are going to sit in stands. Those stands will be empty because there will be no fans. Jay, that's the framework of the deal. We're waiting for it to come to be, and I think that's just a few moments away.
All right, that's going to be a bizarre scene. Players sitting in the stands instead of the dugout. Also, and I'm sure you'll have this at 6 o'clock, and this will be a tease, a very interesting rule change when it comes to extra innings. Jimmy will have that at 6 o'clock. Jimmy, thanks. Great to see you. Well, they say nothing brings people together like sports. We've seen that so many times. And today, the Pro Football Hall of Fame was the backdrop for Northeast Ohio high school students to have a healthy discussion on race. Brandon Simmons now tells us how the program is taking off.
Today's Build the Bridge program involved 60 players and 30 coaches from high schools all around Northeast Ohio, bringing them here to the Canton Pro Football Hall of Fame. And they're here to talk about a heavy topic. They were talking race. And it's all about bringing students together to interact with one another and, more importantly, better understand one another. The idea for the program started with Cleveland Heights football coach Kahari Hicks, who was able to get support from schools all over the area very quickly, expressing interest in it. Now, today's event started out with some discussions on race and social issues, allowing students to share some of their own stories with one another, also including what can be done to improve race relations going forward.
Really opened up my eyes to see that other people of other races and from other parts of the state really understand what we're going through, you know.
It was just surprising to see how like alike we all are. And, you know, it's good to have these uncomfortable conversations because a lot of people don't want to have them, and you need to have these conversations in order to change the culture.
Now, as the name suggests, organizers want to build the bridge early and help these teens be more culturally diverse as they enter their adult life, with the understanding that we're all more alike than we may think. I'm Brandon Simmons, 3 News.
Wow. Betsy, I think we can you can learn so much from young people. You really can. And I think this is one of those instances where you tend to see less division amongst young people in our country than you do with some of the older people that maybe have been set in their ways for so many years. Perhaps adults can take a page out of the kids' playbook for once and do as they do. I think we can learn a lot from the young kids.
Well, and I think this is part of the role of sports in our lives. It's much like music. Everybody can like everything. You can have your taste in your certain sport, your taste in your certain type of music, but that doesn't mean that you disrespect anybody else. It brings us all together to talk about it. And I think that's one of the beautiful parts that sports plays in our lives.
Yeah, it's just fascinating to see the young people embracing this program so much. Brandon, thank you. Great story. Well, as we know, our nation is at a turning point as many are beginning to take a hard look at racism in America. Tonight, WKYC Studios will host a discussion with Akron community leaders and law enforcement about where we go from here. Please join us for Turning Point, the conversation with Jason Fraser at 6:30 live on WKYC.com and the WKYC app.
Just today, there's been a big development in Bill Cosby's sexual assault case. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court has granted him an appeal of his 2018 conviction. Cosby's publicist is claiming this is bigger than Cosby, and his case is partly about the destruction of black people in America. 3 News digital anchor Stephanie Haney, who is also a lawyer and is our legal analyst, is here to break all this down for us. So, Stephanie, what is Bill Cosby fighting for here?
Well, Betsy, Cosby's rep here is calling this a false conviction, but interestingly enough, at least part of the argument is not based on a claim that Cosby is innocent. It's based in part on statements that Cosby made that he says incriminated him that he feels should not have been discussed at trial. So the first of 2 issues on appeal here is whether the trial judge should have allowed in testimony about a statement that Cosby made under oath before his criminal trial, but after he says that he was promised he would not be prosecuted. The question is, does that violate his 5th Amendment right against self-incrimination? But Cosby could have invoked that right during that deposition, so that will be a tough one for him. The other part of this first issue is whether that alleged deal not to prosecute was binding and whether there should have ever been a criminal trial in the first place. That one is a little bit more complicated.
Oh, there's a lot of legalese going on here. So I think a lot of people are very confused about, just what all of this ends up meaning. But I know he's also arguing about the other people who were allowed to testify at his trial.
Yes, that's right. So the second issue here is whether the trial judge allowing other accusers to testify about allegations that were not brought to a court against Cosby was more prejudicial than probative. So we'll tell you what that means. The question is whether it did more harm to Cosby just by suggestion than it did to help the jury by actually providing them with valuable evidence. So we usually see other accusers testify at sentencing after a conviction, but that was not allowed in Cosby's case, even though they did testify at trial, which, as we said, is a bit unusual. So Cosby's attorneys will try to argue here that allowing that testimony took away the presumption of innocence in the jury's mind. And as we all know, here in the U.S., at least in theory, we are all assumed innocent until proven guilty.
Okay, yes, that is true. I think we all have that hopefully figured out. Now, this is about his 2018 conviction. So what happens if his appeal is successful?
It is possible that he could end up with a new trial here, Betsy. Now, keep in mind, he's already had 2 of them because the first one ended in a mistrial because the jury couldn't agree on the verdict, and then he was later convicted in 2018. So that's why he's in prison now on a sentence of 3 to 10 years. But he should stay in custody throughout this appeal.
I'm going to just say it like it is. Bill Cosby's legal life is a hot mess, and hopefully the courts can help him sort this out. It's a very confusing topic and a lot of back and forth, so we're glad we have you to help us try and understand all of it. Thanks, Stephanie. Well, the problems continue to plague people applying for unemployment benefits. Now it's impacting those applying for the pandemic unemployment relief. That's the new program set up by the CARES Act to give unemployment to those who previously didn't qualify. Now, recipients couldn't apply until mid-May, and about 77,000 of them are still waiting for money. Some can't get a hold of anyone for help, or the money hasn't shown up yet. This is in addition to applicants waiting for benefits under the main system.
We are deploying data fixes every day, adjusting rules, reprogramming for all of the unique circumstances that have been kind of exposed as a result of this. So that slowed down the ability for those who had prior issues on the regular unemployment side.
Of course, there's also the issue of all the people applying, including so-called gig workers, people working part-time, independent contractors, and those who don't make enough money to qualify for regular insurance. The Department of Job and Family Services says it's paid out $2 billion to 274,000 applicants. Jay?
All right, Betsy, right now let's check in with Russ Mitchell to see what other stories are making news nationally and locally at 5 o'clock. Hi, Russ.
Hey, Jay, good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to you at home. A second suspect in the death of Nakia Crawford has turned himself in. 18-year-old Jayon Bivens is charged with obstructing justice and tampering with evidence. Crawford was shot and killed in her car. Police have said this may have been a case of mistaken identity. The third suspect, 17-year-old Adaris Black, is still not in custody. Police say he is the shooter, and he's charged with murder. One suspect turned herself in last week. East Cleveland police have arrested the 17-year-old accused of shooting an 8-year-old girl on Sunday, leaving her in critical condition. U.S. Marshals arrested the teen just before 9 o'clock this morning in Warrensville Heights. There is still a $2,500 reward for information in the case. And Dr. Anthony Fauci breaking with President Trump during testimony on Capitol Hill today, saying we will do more testing, not less, as the country battles to slow down the coronavirus. Dr. Fauci and other top scientists also testified they were not asked by the president to slow down testing, contradicting what Mr. Trump said at his rally last weekend in Tulsa.
In other areas of the country, we're now seeing a disturbing surge of infections that looks like it's a combination. But one of the things is an increase in community spread. And that's something that I'm really quite concerned about.
And Dr. Fauci says he hopes a vaccine will be available by early next year. And that is all at 5 o'clock. Jay, it's great to see you and Betsy in the same place once again after all this time.
Good to be back together. And I, for one, second Dr. Fauci's hope that we have a vaccine by early next year.
Oh, yeah,
I
definitely.
think what a step that would be. Russ, thanks.
Sure.
We'll see you in just a little bit.
See ya.
Straight ahead on What's New, it is time to get out your hand sanitizer. Do that during the commercial break because the FDA has a strong warning about several different brands that you need to know about.
This story is fascinating. It's very interesting. And what MLB players are saying about the plans to get baseball up and running again. If the weather will cooperate, right? So, of course, we're going to turn it over to Matt now with what's happening with the weather.
Hi there, Betsy. As you know, the rain is now well off towards the east, at least the heavy stuff. But we do have some scattered showers, even some rumbles of thunder over the next couple of days. We'll detail that and your temps coming up after the break.
got me?
Yes, I do. Can you hear me?
Measure level once, please.
Dr. Anthony Fauci talking to Congress today, telling everyone that there's a vaccine that's due out at the end of the year.
This falls under the OMG category of news for today. Most of us have been keeping hand sanitizer within reach at all times, but you should check the brand. The FDA is warning that 9 alcohol-based sanitizers made in Mexico could be toxic. The company is called ESK Biochem, or ESK Biochem, and it sells sanitizers under the names of All Clean, ESK Biochem, Clean Care, No Germ, Lavar 70M, The Good Gel, and Saniderm. The FDA says they contain methanol, which is toxic and can cause nausea, vomiting, and even death. Some don't contain alcohol at all. So we asked a doctor at Summa Health, which is best, ethanol or isopropyl alcohol?
They're both just different types of the alcohol and the way they're manufactured, but they're both fine. I mean, they're both based on the CDC. You can do about 70% of the isopropyl alcohol or 60% of the ethanol.
Wet ones, hand wipes, wipe away.
Okay, so those two are good. Methadol, no good. And when it comes to wipes, the CDC recommends using ones with alcohol. However, Dr. Agarwal says non-alcohol ones are FDA approved and they work just fine on the COVID-19 virus. Wow. Can you imagine looking down and you actually have one of those bottles? Now I've noticed, and Matt, I know you guys are stocked up with sanitizer at your house because you have kids, but have you noticed there's a different smell to some of the hand sanitizers based on where they're made? I'm serious. The Jen in our studio here pointed out, we have some that's made in Mexico. It smells just like tequila. Swear.
That's probably, well, look, they're using methanol. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It really is bizarre. Betsy, to that point, I've used them usually out in public at stores. I've used them and then I've immediately smelled my hands afterwards and they just smell badly.
So bad, right?
Yeah.
Matt, this has nothing to do with weather. You can take it away now.
No. Oh, Matt, you get a weather word today.
Oh.
Enthusiastic. That's the word that best describes my mood when I saw all the torrential rain that we got yesterday and even today. Oh. We got some Sunday. I was so pleased. So I'm enthusiastic about that.
I was, well, first of all, with the hand sanitizer, Jay, stop using the kind with gasoline. I know you've got a couple of those stored away at home. That would be much better. But, I did the same thing with the kids today. It was pouring rain. There was a very little threat of lightning. So I took them outside. We were literally hands up to the air saying, yes, this is awesome. And I think most of Northeast Ohio is feeling that same way, as it is just what the doctor ordered with this rainfall the last couple of days. So let's get into it. The heaviest rain is now well off to the east, but the actual cold front is moving through right now. You really aren't going to notice it. We've got a little line of darkening clouds, couple downpours. You can see that little skinny line there stretching from Geauga County down towards Millersburg. Perhaps one more shower if you're east of there. But you can see how much rain fell today, anywhere from 1/4 inch to up to an inch. The majority of the area that got the rain today, Lake Geauga, Ashtabula, even Cuyahoga County, lesser amounts down to the south. But if we go over the last 48 hours since Sunday, the amounts in bright green, that's an inch. If you get into the blues, that's 2 inches of rain. So a widespread 1 to 2 inches of rain for our lawns and gardens and flower pots that we forget about. It is certainly something that keeps everyone very enthusiastic here around Northeast Ohio. The cold front now heading off towards the east. Tomorrow, this is what we're going to get into. There's a couple spokes of energy along this low pressure that move through. It may kick off a couple afternoon showers, especially away from the lake tomorrow. You can see some of that happening in Wisconsin. Overall, we're pretty much done with the solid rain. Temperatures are coming down. We've got a different story on the western half of the viewing area behind that front. 73 in Sandusky, 74 in Norwalk. The wind is going to be pretty breezy throughout the evening hours. It should subside after sunset. But look at the dew points. We have the tropical air east. It is refreshing the further west you get. Even Elyria now, areas of Lorain County getting into that drier air. So breezy and less humid tonight. We'll fall back into the 60s for most. Notice that wind at the very bottom of the screen still whipping anywhere from 10 to 20 miles per hour overnight tonight. So it'll be a nice windows open kind of night. Your National Design Mart hour by hour forecast dries us out, especially for the duration of tomorrow. Less humid, more comfortable. There's your isolated risk of some scattered showers in the afternoon. And then Thursday, that's when things start to change. We'll bring in another system that will bubble up some showers and thunderstorms, especially during the afternoon. Universal Windows Direct 7-day forecast, scattered rain and storms on Thursday. Then we're back to the heat and humidity as we go on into the weekend. Guys?
Very good. I like that. And he got the enthusiastic in. The only thing I miss is the kick.
Yeah.
I desperately miss the kick. Matt, we'll see you in a little bit. Yeah. Next on What's New, ride at your own risk. The waiver you'll have to sign if you visit one of Ohio's best-known theme parks. It is time to see what's clicking in Cleveland, and here with that, as always, our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney. Stephanie, great to see you again.
Great to see you, Jay. We know we're getting closer and closer to those amusement parks reopening. That includes Cedar Point in Sandusky and also Kings Island in Cincinnati. So Kings Island has a disclaimer that they've come out with to cover bases when it comes to COVID-19. So the park down there opens on July 2nd for season pass holders and July 12th for the general public, all requiring a reservation, but not without a warning. At the end of its Welcome You Back guide, which includes rules that people have to wear masks and no one with a temperature of above 100.4 degrees can come inside, is a coronavirus disclaimer that reads, by visiting the park, you voluntarily assume all risks related to exposure to COVID-19. So yes, ride at your own risk, giving new meaning to that one. Now, here in Cleveland, we are all very excited about the prospect of baseball coming back. That includes the team, even though we are still waiting on that final formalizing of the agreement. But the pitchers with the Cleveland Indians are especially excited about it. So Mike Clevenger tweeted a message to his fellow players, thanking them for staying united through the negotiations process. He wrote that it could have been easy to break, but they didn't, and he included a GIF that says, "Let's be amazing together." Let's certainly hope that they are amazing together when they do come back. Pitcher Logan also tweeted a GIF too of Ric Flair doing his legendary woo, writing, "Now we go," with a few choice emojis. So it is so great to see everybody amped up about this, Jay. Now we just need to get everybody together to sign on the dotted line and make this deal official.
Yeah, let's get this thing going and get baseball back on our TVs and our radios. It will be nice. Steph, we'll see you in a little bit. Still ahead, hard not to love this story. Police hopped in on a football game with local kids. The not so nice call, though, that created this amazing moment. Trust me, the kids enjoyed that.
Your chances like in base. Hello, hey, how we doing, Al? All right, this is it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Welcome back to What's New. Jay Crawford with Betsy Kling. One of the things I told Betsy earlier today, the thing I was most looking forward to was in the commercial breaks here, I'll take my scripts when I'm done, crumple them up, and shoot baskets across the studio. And I told Betsy, I've been thinking about this shot for 3 months. I've missed that every day, taking my shots. And my first shot, I missed it.
You did, but I posted video of it on my Instagram
Of me missing?
page. Everybody's gonna have to
Thank
see
you.
for themselves.
Thank you, Betsy.
It's Betsy Kling on Instagram. It's right there, and I did. I didn't hashtag it, but I did mention Spring Training 2.0 for paper ball.
That's about what it is.
Might be needed, certainly.
Yeah, that's
Here
about
it is.
what it is.
It's 5:30 already, Jay.
Yes.
Flying by.
This is always one of my favorite parts of the show. It is time, Betsy, to tell me something good.
It's always a great time to tell you something good, certainly. Well, this story didn't start off great, but the ending is something that we think people are going to want to see more of. A viewer posted on Instagram that someone called the Shaker Heights Police Department because her kids were playing football on the street. And when the police showed up, They got in on the fun. She wrote, "Thank you for letting the kids be kids," and snapped a picture with them afterward. I think that is so cool. I love the faces, everybody's smiling, having a good time. You can tell there's a little bit of, competition with the cops.
Yep. And Betsy, to the story that we had earlier, talking about social norms and values are embedded at young ages. Yep. And community policing is where the trust is built between the citizens of a community and the police force. And I know that's just one incident. It happens, believe it or not, more often around the country than you would think. But that's the kind of thing that we need more of for the young people in our communities to realize that police can be there for your good as well and to help out and make the community a better place to live. I think that's a great story.
Always good to hang out. All right. Thanks, Jay. We're going to move on to our top talker now. There's a lot of chatter about a second wave of COVID-19 and a vaccine for the coronavirus. Dr. Anthony Fauci and other doctors discussed them during testimony today on Capitol Hill. Our senior health correspondent, Monica Robbins, explains the latest developments.
With the U.S. coronavirus death toll topping 120,000, the nation's top health officials are called before Congress to give a pulse check on the pandemic.
In some respects, we've done very well.
Dr. Anthony Fauci calls progress thus far a mixed bag at best.
In other areas of the country, we're now seeing a disturbing surge of infections.
The officials citing evidence of new spikes in southern and western states, with some states rolling back reopening plans, and cases rising among the young. President Trump today again confusing the issue of whether he has ordered top officials to slow testing, a stunning claim made at his Tulsa rally Saturday.
So I said to my people, slow the testing down, please.
The White House said he was kidding, but this from President Trump today.
I don't kid.
But today, each of the officials in turn denied the president gave them any such order.
I know for sure, but to my knowledge, none of us have ever been told to slow down on testing. We're going to be doing more testing, not less.
And amid the national upheaval over systemic racism, Dr. Fauci says it has contributed to the virus.
The African American community has suffered from racism for a very, very long period of time. And I cannot imagine that has not contributed.
Sobering testimony that contained one key note of optimism, that a vaccine could be ready by year's end.
And we start with that topic as Monica joins us live right now. Where do we stand on a vaccine?
Okay, I don't want to rain on the vaccine parade. It is incredible that we may have something by the end of the year. However, I would caution against thinking that a vaccine would be the silver bullet against the virus, because many experts say the fact that we're cramming years of typical research into months is concerning. And remember, no vaccine is 100% effective, and there is risk of other health issues with any vaccine. And with the rush of getting it out, there's also a potential for mistakes. Now, hopefully the one that does get approved is at least 70% effective, but until thousands of people get it, Betsy, we're not going to know how long immunity lasts.
All right, so what age range now has the highest number of cases here in Ohio?
Well, this may surprise you. While we know older people are at most risk for dying, Ohio's numbers show the majority of people contracting the virus are between 30 and 39. But get this, so far the highest numbers of cases in just June are those between 20 and 29.
My goodness. All right. Well, Monica, thanks for the latest on all of that. And we'll check in with you again coming up as more information gets released, certainly. Thanks.
Sure.
Now let's turn things over to our friend Russ Mitchell, who's keeping an eye on the other stories making headlines today. Good afternoon, Russ.
Betsy, good afternoon to you, and good afternoon to you at home. A protest was held outside RTA headquarters this morning by a group calling for more affordable transportation. The group, Clevelanders for Public Transit, is demanding an end to armed RTA police. They want that money that would save to go towards restoring service and lowering fares. The group also wants to decriminalize fare evasion, arguing that drivers don't face criminal prosecution for parking violations. Funeral services were held today for Rayshard Brooks, the Atlanta man who was shot and killed by police after a confrontation that began with a DUI arrest. The private service was held at the historic Ebenezer Baptist Church. The former police officer charged in Brooks' murder is due in court next week. And President Trump will hold another indoor rally today in Arizona, despite that state seeing a spike in coronavirus cases. 2 more members of the president's advance team have now tested positive, bringing the total to 8 since Saturday. And much more on that tonight at 6 o'clock. Betsy, back to you.
All right, thank you, Russ. We'll see you in just a little bit.
There's our music. It means you're about to be educated on what's going on in the world of entertainment. Here's Stephanie Haney now with your Daily Pop Break.
30 Rock creator Tina Fey is apologizing and requesting several episodes be removed after people criticized the use of blackface as a joke in the NBC show. Fey said in a memo that these episodes featuring actors in race-changing makeup are best taken out of circulation and that she understands now that intent is not a free pass for white people to use these images. A Destiny's Child has finally met her destiny, her father. Kelly Rowland has reunited with her long-lost dad after more than 30 years apart. Kelly said that reaching out and meeting him was the scariest experience of her life, but it was so worthwhile. She shared part of why that is in a Father's Day message thanking him for coming back into her life, writing that him telling her how smart and beautiful she is will never get old. In an interview with Billboard, the Black Eyed Peas finally explained why Fergie made the controversial decision to leave the group in 2017 after nearly 10 years together. It was to fully devote herself to being a great mom. It was a tough call, but it gave the group the chance to introduce their new singer, J. Ray Soul, so it all worked out for everyone in the end, and now we can't wait to hear their new music. And speaking of major breakups, Kourtney Kardashian and Scott Disick are sparking rumors of a rekindled romance after flirty interactions on Instagram. Last week, fans noticed that Kourtney posted a pic wearing one of Scott's flannels, and just yesterday, Scott commented, "cute shirt," on another photo of her in a flannel that looks a lot like one he wore in her Father's Day tribute to him. The mom and dad of 3 dated for 10 years before breaking up in 2015 and have basically been co-parenting goals ever since, so this could get interesting. After his breakup with Sofia Richie and his recent relapse, Scott did recently say that he would do anything to be the right type of man and father. And as for Kourtney stealing Scott's clothes, that is a classic move when you like somebody like that, Jay. That's all I'm saying.
I understand. I think it's a good thing for television executives that the Kardashian family has so much drama in it. Otherwise, it would be a pretty boring show. There's never a dull moment on that program. Stephanie, thank you so much. We will see you tomorrow. Next on What's New, Apple unveiled its new operating system today. The company is making changes to help us during this COVID-19 pandemic.
And we also check in again with Matt. How's that weather happening out there?
Hey there, Betsy. Emmy and Rivers House withstood another storm. How about that? Good construction, right? I think we've all withstood the storms over the last couple days outside of the much-needed rainfall. Things get quieter from here, but then we bring on some more heat in the extended forecasts. I've got the details coming up.
Very much so. Yes. Can't wait.
Alrighty, well, it is Tuesday. We're all kind of getting back in the swing of things. We're just kind of missing one live in-studio component, actually two. One would be Stephanie, and two, of course, would be Matt. But you're so busy there at home, it's hard for us to take you out.
And it's entertaining.
For us.
Is it hard for you to, is it really hard for you to take me out? Is it really? Emmy and I have been coloring this picture. I've got this picture down here. We've been coloring it for how many days now, honey?
A ton.
A ton of days, yeah. It's one of those like really in-depth picture. Here, let me show everybody.
Look
Literally,
at her face was
there's so many
priceless.
details on this.
Whoa.
Wow.
And then Emmy goes away from the whole plan and she starts coloring her own thing, which is fine, honey. It's very creative, but we're not getting any further with this picture. So is it going to be tough to get me out of home, really? All right, we'll have a conversation with the boss soon. Okay, let's talk rainfall, shall we? The newest numbers are in. We talk about what's new, and this is the newest rainfall totals in today. Over half an inch of rain fell in the Cleveland area, Akron, Canton, Mansfield, almost a quarter inch. But the number at the bottom of the screen, this is your June rainfall. That's really when we went dry around here. We're still running deficits area-wide, so a couple dry days from here on out, and we're going to be back to needing to water those gardens and all that good stuff. But for now, we are happy with what we got. We've got refreshing air moving in. It's going to be a beautiful evening and a beautiful night ahead of us. Temperatures still 82 Akron, but much cooler off towards the west as that cooler, more refreshing air comes in. And it's coming in with some breezy conditions. These are sustained winds. We've had gusts over 32 miles per hour off towards the west. So once that front goes through, which right now is hugging the I-71 corridor, things will turn breezy, but it'll also become more refreshing by the hour, as indicated by our dew points there, where we have much, much lower numbers off towards the west. That cold front right now, it wasn't with the heavy rain earlier. It's actually moving through the Akron area out towards Ashtabula, Jefferson, Conneaut, seeing that cold front right now. It stretches all the way down towards the Canton area along US 30. Everyone will be in the refreshing air tonight behind that front. Off to the west, so you can see it's kind of messy. This time of year, you don't get these clear passages of cold fronts. You get kind of some lingering moisture, and that's what we have back in Wisconsin. You can see the daytime heating's kicked off, a couple showers there. So we're going to keep some showers in the forecast, just spotty over the next couple days as we get a couple spokes around that area of low pressure. But look at that computer generating some windy icons for 5 to 7. It will be breezy overnight tonight. That wind will relax a little bit after sunset, but we continue to see that breeze, especially out over the lake if you're planning on boating or swimming tomorrow. We do have a rip current risk and also a small craft advisory, 2 to 4 footers with that strong west wind. National Design Mart hour by our forecast. We clear out tonight. Here's tomorrow morning, starting with mainly sunny skies. By afternoon, just a couple bubble up showers, otherwise we're dry. And then Thursday we have a better chance of some showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon as we bring another little stronger spoke of energy along that area low pressure. So plan for perhaps some afternoon rain. Universal Windows Direct 7-day forecast. Beyond the next 2 days, we're back to the heat by Friday, up into the 80s. Humidity will come back then as well, and some storms looking likely at this point for Saturday and Sunday. So we'll send it back to you guys in that comfy, quiet studio.
We're coloring too. I had to take Jay's crayons away just before the start of the show.
Because we were working on this picture for a ton of days.
Okay, thanks a lot, Matt. We'll
Hey, Bets, maybe we can ask the bosses if when Matt comes back, he can bring the kids.
Okay.
I'd be for that.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's just what Matt wants. All right. We'll see you again at 7, Matt. See if you survive.
All right. He's looking at this as his sanity.
Gosh, right?
His return to sanity.
Changing gears, but certainly not any less hilarious. Since all sports were canceled during the pandemic, our Mike Polk decided he's going to fill the void, whether we like it or not. He's tried football. He's tried basketball. He's done putt-putt. But now it's the batting cages. Mike, you look legit.
Look at him, Bets.
Thanks,
That's an
guys.
athlete if I've
This one
ever
actually-
seen one.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I got to tell you, it was some work to get into these pants. And probably don't go down here because they don't leave a lot to the imagination. But this one's particularly important to me because it was a couple of years ago, 2018, that I struck out at a charity softball game for Our Lady of the Wayside. I was struck out by none other than Len Barker in front of a crowd of people. And so actually making contact with a softball is very important to me right now for my ego. And what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and hit 10, what we all agree will be home runs within the next minute and a half. All right, that's my goal right now. All right, you ready? Here we go. Randy, get out of harm's way, because I'm really doing some damage here.
Is this a pitching machine?
This is a pitching machine. I'm in a wonderful place called Lost Nation. Wait, oh gosh, that was too fast. Sorry, hold on. I am in the slowest pitch of the pitching machine, by the way.
I was going to say, what is it, little girl softball or T-ball?
Yes, I am. There's a small child down there throwing them to me. And so far, I've hit no home runs, but I'm just warming up. Okay, you see, that one's gone. Randy, you missed it.
Didn't see
I'm
it.
so sorry, guys, but believe me, I'm crushing these.
Anyways,
this is the only live sports. The only live sports on television right now in the greater Cleveland area. Reminder.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing,
Bats. I'm not saying it's great. I'm not saying it's great, but it is definitely happening.
Well, you know what it looks like? Is that fast pitch, Mike?
It's coming faster than it looks here. That's all I'm saying.
No, that's not slow pitch softball.
It's not slow pitch. I mean, they're really coming in there.
Yeah, this is legit here.
Thank you, Jay, for
not
noticing.
a home run.
You got to stay on your feet.
Not yet. That's gone.
Step and
That's
drive.
Gone.
Yeah, that was gone.
All right, we have
only
one.
live sports on TV. It might not be great.
Oh wait, now we have to go to break. I'm sorry. We
Mike,
have live.
keep
to go to break.
Keep swinging.
I'm going to keep crushing them.
All right, you keep crushing them. We're going to check in on you on the other side of the break. Betsy, he hasn't hit a home run yet.
Not even close. Oh my gosh.
We're going to step away. Mike's going to keep swinging. And as I said, we'll check back, Betsy.
Yes, we will. Also, when we come back, Apple's newest operating system will have some new features. One of them includes making sure that you wash your hands for at least 20 seconds.
Now that's cool. That I can use. Also, crews were trying to rescue a cat that just did not want to be caught. I'm sure you know what that's like. The cat's reaction in our Worth the Watch next. All right, we're checking back in with Mike Polk. Mike, I think you've probably hit at least 15 or 20 home runs by now, right?
Oh my gosh, I'm chasing Sosa at this point. Listen, this didn't go great, but I feel like I got that monkey off my back, and I do want to thank Lost Nation Sports Complex in Lorain for having us. Great place to be embarrassed if you ever need to come down here and be embarrassed at softball.
Oh, my word. All right, so that's Lost Nation Sports Park West that actually let you in there in Lorraine. So we're not sure if the East version will let you in.
Show all the kids that all these kids didn't get to bat because I'm in here clogging up the thing. You know what? Sorry, kids, be a local celebrity, and then you'll get these kind of perks. That's all I'm saying. Stay in school.
Mike, thank you. I needed that chuckle. I really did. And the Indians called. They want their uniform back.
Please, yes.
But that's beautiful. That's just a thing of beauty.
I'm doing it justice.
Filling that
Bye,
void
guys.
of live sports. Mike, we'll see you soon. And from that, we go to this news. It's Tech Tuesday. The Apple conference is taking place virtually this week, and its operating system is getting a redesign. iOS 14 will have a new home screen, and it will also allow users to use multiple apps at once. I don't know why you would need to do that, but if you want to, now you can. Apple will also start making its own processors for Mac computers, and that is a big shift for the company.
We see this generally as a move that Apple is making to have more control over the quote-unquote full stack of its technology.
Oh, sorry, I just got caught with a live mic. I used to work with her at ESPN, Lauren Good. COVID-19 is playing a role in some updates. Betsy, I think this is fascinating. There will now be masked emojis. We've been waiting for those. The Apple Watch will have a hand washing detection. You'll see a countdown clock there, along with hearing bubbles pop for each second left in your wash. Betsy, we've already seen how COVID-19 is changing how companies operate, but I'm curious, are you someone who likes when the companies make functionality changes, or are you one that just says, please keep everything the same, stop changing it?
Just as long as I can find what I need to find and use what I need to use, I'm fine with it. If it makes it faster, better, bigger, more, even better. But usually it's just a big pain in the butt to get used to a new interface.
Yeah, put me in the don't change it cap. I like it the way I like it.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, one thing that never changes, cats really don't like water so much. And this cat did not want rescuers to save it. Wait till you see the shenanigans this little thing tried to pull to get away. It's next in our Worth the Watch.
It doesn't look friendly.
Poor baby.
I do. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Some breaking news from the NASCAR world. No charges are filed over the new.
Hey, mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check, mic check, mic check. We start with breaking news.
All right, everybody, it's time now for our Worth the Watch. A search and rescue team in London tried to rescue a cat that did not want to be captured. The black cat was in between the water and a concrete wall. So when an emergency worker got close, the cat hissed. Yeah, tried to climb up the wall. Poor little thing is so scared. Whoa, then the cat climbed up the rescuer's back and tried to get away. It takes off. And it goes into the water, and that's where the rescuer finally gets a hold of it and brings it to safety. I mean, oh, look at that poor little thing. He's so scared. So
I've been there.
Thankfully, though, they did get it, and they did rescue that little friend.
We're out of time. Thanks so much for watching What's New. We hope you join us tomorrow at 5.
We'll be back in studio together again. Yay! What matters most with Russ and Laura? It starts